The scene opens with a young office worker, a bewildered expression on his face, as he hears a sentence from his team leader. "I'm sorry, Eunho," the team leader, with his thinning hair, explains, "It's not that we dislike you or anything. You know how the economy is these days." He trails off, becoming increasingly awkward, forcing a smile. "Of course, we'd love to keep working with you. We know how hard you've worked these past 2 years." What am I saying? Not wanting to keep his leader waiting, Lee Eunho speaks up. "Yes, I understand. And my name is Lee Eunho." He looks seriously at his computer screen, assuring his team leader, "I will finish my remaining tasks here properly. Today, I've been laid off." 2 years ago, he joined the company as a contract worker. The contract was for 2 years, during which he tried his best. When colleagues would ask, "Hey, Eunho, can you help me with this?" he always responded enthusiastically, "Of course, what do you need?" He had worked incredibly hard, no matter how difficult the task. Lee Eunho had persevered to become a full-time employee. A colleague would instruct, "If you check the computer, you'll find our previous month's payment report." Eunho would focus intently on learning new things. "Understood, no problem." But the result was, MS Group, Strategic Planning Department, Lee Eunho. As you can see, now his team leader is trying to soften the blow after delivering his termination notice. "It's not because you were lacking in any way. It seems the transition to full-time employment wasn't successful, right?" He fumbles for an explanation. "Well, it's restructuring. They call it restructuring. Since it's a company decision, I hope you don't take it personally." Eunho doesn't look at his team leader's face, his expression unchanged. "Of course not. I'm not upset with you, team leader." 3, 2, 1. Suddenly, the team leader places his hand on the desk divider and exclaims, "I knew it." He gives a thumbs up, smiling broadly. "That's the spirit. I like you being so strong, Eunho." His words leave Eunho speechless. "I knew this was going to happen. They feel a little awkward for letting me go, but they're always like that." The balding team leader chuckles and waves his hand. "You'll do well wherever you go." Well, he continues rambling. "Even if your body is a little, well, you're still young and full of potential." Even though Eunho doesn't reply, he keeps talking, fueled by the concern and unease of the surrounding co-workers. "You've been working hard all this time." Finally, the team leader proposes, "All right, let's go for lunch to cheer you up, Eunho." He still doesn't respond. The team leader asks again, "How about crab blood soup?" But now, only the words a little echo in Eunho's mind. A colleague hesitantly speaks up, Team leader, that place is about a 10-minute walk." The team leader doesn't get it and asks, "Huh? Everyone will think the same way." At this point, the same colleague says, "Don't you think it's a bit inconvenient for Eunho? Because As everyone discusses, Eunho pushes himself up and says, "I'll eat separately. Enjoy your meal." He clutches his pants, unable to walk 10 minutes for lunch. His co-workers look at him with concern. "Are you really okay, Eunho?" As he hugs his leg to walk, he responds, "Yes, I'm fine. Actually, I have another appointment." The cripple, Lee Eunho. And, of course, he has no appointment. Eunho eats lunch alone on the crowded rooftop, thinking, "Since I'm leaving anyway, I don't need to eat while being considerate of others." With that thought, he leisurely takes a sip of his coffee. After finishing, he gazes up at the sky, as if contemplating something. "But, maybe I'll miss this place a little," he wonders, looking at the rooftop scenery. At his feet is a withered tree, signifying the end of life. "I was once very fast and free. The most promising prospect in Korean track and field. That was me. But that didn't last long. A minor car accident before the practical exam. That turned me into someone everyone understands. I still want to. Even just once would be enough. I want to run until my heart feels like it's going to burst. But," he thought numbly, "unless I can live again." Just as Eunho is lost in thought, a beautiful woman named Kim Ji-yoon appears. "What are you thinking about so deeply?" Eunho is startled and greets her. "Oh, Ji-yoon, when did you get here?" Ji-yoon replies, "I just got here." This person is Kim Ji-yoon, a contract worker who started as a secretary a week after him. Ji-yoon asks again, "What were you thinking about?" Eunho hesitates. He looks up at the sky and tells her, "I was wondering where I'll work next." Ji-yoon laughs, waving her hand. "What are you talking about? Are you about to get fired? Why are you thinking about that?" Unexpectedly, Eunho isn't joking. He calmly replies, "That's right." This answer freezes Ji-yoon. Eunho takes another sip of his coffee and says, "Actually, I got fired today. Or should I say, restructured." The more Eunho talks, the more Ji-yoon seems to turn to stone and crack. Eunho continues with the same tone, as if he's telling a normal, insignificant story. "Anyway, that's how it is." It's at this point he notices Ji-yoon next to him. She's looking at him with sympathy and sadness. She looks down and says, "I'm so sorry." Eunho is confused. Why? Ji-yoon honestly says, I didn't know. Now Eunho is the one consoling her. It's okay. It's not your fault, Ji-yoon. Ji-yoon asks, when will you quit? Eunho is unsure. I think they'll call me separately to tell me later. Suddenly, a mechanical voice echoes in Eunho's head. Leave. The decision of this planet has been made. Ji-yoon hears this announcement as well. Eunho, confused, asks, announcement? She replies, it's more like an echo in my head than an announcement. The mechanical voice speaks again. The mission will begin shortly. Eunho is puzzled. You heard that too, right, Ji-yoon? Ji-yoon looks around as if searching for the source of the sound. Yes, I heard it too. Both of them look around, and everyone starts to murmur. What was that? I don't have headphones on. The building manager's announcement? What were they saying? Ji-yoon concludes, it seems like everyone heard that sound. The announcement appears once more. We are announcing it again. This planet has been sold. Eunho is shocked. What? The announcement continues, therefore, restructuring will be implemented. Eunho contemplates. This is absurd. Just then, Manager Choi appears. Hey, Ji-yoon. Ji-yoon, hearing the call, turns around. Ah, Manager Choi. This is undoubtedly the powerful Manager Choi from Ji-yoon's department, her colleague. Manager Choi frowns. What are you still doing here? How much time is left for lunch break? The announcement still echoes. The mission will begin shortly. Ji-yoon, distracted by it, hesitates. But the announcement, Manager Choi dismisses it. Oh my god, are you bothered by that nonsense? He berates her. With that attitude, do you think you'll become a full-time employee? Hurry up if you don't want to be late. This hits a nerve for Eunho, who freezes in place. Eunho suddenly interrupts Manager Choi's words. It's still okay now. Manager Choi raises an eyebrow. Confused? What? Not intimidated by his authority, Eunho explains, there are still 15 minutes left for lunch break. Going down won't take much time, so if we stay a little longer, we won't be late. It's only now that Manager Choi notices him. You're that trainee from the next department. That's you, right? Looking at his disabled leg, Manager Choi speaks bluntly. You cripple. Seeing this, Ji-yoon tries to mediate. Manager, please. But Manager Choi doesn't care. He continues to provoke. I heard you got fired this time. TSK TSK. It was inevitable. Ji-yoon is startled and looks at Eunho to see if he's alright. Manager Choi continues to make cutting remarks. If you have shortcomings, you should live more diligently. This time, Eunho remains silent, not responding. His expression is blank, as if Manager Choi's words have no effect on him. Just then, the announcement sounds again. The first mission begins. Eunho suddenly opens his eyes wide in shock. A green beam of light appears in the middle of the rooftop. A mechanical voice announces, please enter the designated area within the time limit. All individuals who fail to do so will be subject to restructuring. The beam acts like a net with a limited area, and some people are already inside. A countdown begins with 1 minute left. Commencing countdown. Manager Choi observes the area and says, I wonder what they're planning, but it looks quite impressive. Ji-yoon's colleague calmly surmises, it seems like a gaming event organized by a company in the building. Manager Choi says, I told you, nowadays there's a lot of crazy stuff like that. He shows a lack of interest while telling his subordinates, let's go down. While Eunho is still thinking about it, a gaming event? It feels different, a suspicious feeling growing inside him. Manager Choi and Ji-yoon's colleague pass him by, and Manager Choi speaks up, oh my, oh dear, in a way that confuses both Eunho and Ji-yoon. He pats his right thigh and pretends to ask, should I go see an orthopedist? Ji-yoon's colleague snickers, why don't you try physical therapy? Seeing this, Ji-yoon is flustered and worried about Eunho's feelings, but he is just idly thinking, is he imitating me? He imitates like a monkey. Ji-yoon notices him not saying anything and quickly calls, Eunho. Eunho turns. Yes? Ji-yoon bows, I'm so sorry. It's all because of me. Eunho says calmly, it's okay. I'm used to this. Ji-yoon doesn't know how to respond and forces a laugh. Haha. It doesn't look okay at all. As the people around them panic about the giant net, Ji-yoon asks Eunho, so, what should we do now? Eunho replies, well, if that's the case, let's at least go see what's happening. At this time, the countdown has 10 seconds left. 9 seconds. The two of them gradually approach the net. Ji-yoon says in awe, I don't know what this is, but it's well done. Is this a hologram? Eunho, unsure, replies, I'm not sure, I've never seen anything like this before. Time left, 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Ji-yoon asks, Eunho, if you quit, what do you plan on doing? Eunho laughs, that's a good question. I guess I'll go hunting again. 6 seconds, 5 seconds left. Ji-yoon's colleague turns the door handle upon at 4 seconds. He panics, huh? The door won't open. Manager Choi, upon hearing this, tilts his head, puzzled. What do you mean? Suddenly, 2 seconds left. 1 second left. At this moment, Ji-yoon and Eunho step inside the designated area as well. Eunho steps inside at the same time as the clock hits 0. A loud noise erupts. Eunho opens his eyes wide, his face pale. He quickly turns to look around. A perplexed expression comes over him. In his mind, Eunho wonders, what was that feeling? Ji-yoon notices his behavior and calls out to him, Eunho? At this moment, the people outside suddenly feel a tremor. It's as if an invisible force is pressing down on them. Everyone asks each other in confusion, what is it? What the hell is going on? The people inside the safe zone begin to discuss among themselves, what's happening? What's wrong with them? The mechanical voice echoes again, time is up. Suddenly, Eunho senses something. The notification turns red, like a warning, commencing restructuring of the human resources. Instantly, those outside the designated area are hit by an unknown force, Manager Choi and Ji-yoon's colleague included. They are torn into pieces. They scream in agony. Before disappearing completely, they let out one loud scream that reverberated through the area. Ji-yoon is horrified by this, covering her mouth with a trembling hand. Eunho, what is this? Eunho is just as confused. Yes, his eyes widen. Those outside of the area are being torn apart and disappearing. A notification appears, first mission complete. MS Tower, 184 individuals have been restructured. That day, everything we knew crumbled. The announcement continues, survivors, 1,796. Then, a table appears before Eunho. System display, please choose a mission reward. Eunho thinks in shock, this is, before him appears his own status. Name, Lee Eunho, affiliation, District 13, Rokseo, Zone 107, MS Tower, rank, restructuring target, stats, health, 12, strength, 11, intelligence, 10, judgment, 15, agility, 1, vitality, 31, traits, unlocked, skills, unlocked. Eunho wonders, a status window, health, strength, all of my physical information, it's all quantified. I choose a reward from this? With this thought, Eunho raises his hand. He hesitantly touches the leg area in the drawing. Can I choose the leg? The system announces, starting mission reward distribution. Immediately, a force acts on his disabled leg. Eunho is surprised by the sensation in his leg. The system informs him, reward distribution successful. 20% recovery of gait. He is shocked. What? Recovery? At this moment, Ji-yoon beside him points at the table in front of him. Eunho, you see it too, right? Eunho responds, yes. Thank goodness, at least I'm not the only one who sees it. Ji-yoon, bewildered, says, what the heck is going on? On Earth or what? Eunho feels the same. I'm not sure but, he said. It said that was the first mission. There might be other missions to come. And it seems like if we fail, we would disappear like those people. Ji-yoon becomes even more scared. She stutters, who is behind all of this? Eunho says uncertainly, I don't know. But I'm sure we'll soon get a new message. The system is quick to display a new announcement. The second mission will begin soon. Eunho frowns, just as I thought. The safe zone will be randomly regenerated after the mission begins. Beginning countdown. A clock starts counting down from 5 minutes. In front of everyone, their own status windows appear. Ji-yoon asks, trembling, what do we do? Eunho says quickly, we have to move fast. The second mission might be more difficult. Ji-yoon asks in a panic, what? Why? Eunho explains seriously, they clearly said it's restructuring. If that's the plan, they will only want to keep the most valuable people. If I'm right, the competition will be even more fierce than the first mission. Ji-yoon is worried. Then what? Eunho looks at the others on the rooftop. There might even be fights between people. Ji-yoon stammers, this. Eunho deduces, of course there has to be fights. Especially if you saw with your own eyes how those people were deleted and disappeared. If not for that reason, then at least to get the mission reward. He stomps his disabled leg on the ground. A different sensation immediately travels through his leg. He thinks in surprise, it feels lighter already. Even with just 20%, my gait has changed significantly. With that thought, he clenches his lips. Ji-yoon, he calls out. Yes, Ji-yoon responds immediately. Right. Eunho adjusts his clothing and tells Ji-yoon, we have to move too. One way or another. Anyway, it is my fate to be restructured. We don't know what's going to happen. But what if I can change my fate? This idiotic restructuring? After throwing his employee ID card away, Eunho says, let's start looking for something we can use as a weapon. At all costs, I will survive. After forcefully throwing his employee ID card, Eunho declared, "Let's start looking for something useful to use as a weapon." Ji-yoon hesitated. "A weapon? Here? There aren't any weapons." She then asked Eunho if he had any ideas. Eunho knew, of course. It's not easy to find a weapon in an office. He turned his head to say to her, "I don't know either, but if we find any later, we should each keep one." Ji-yoon's expression became flustered. "I have to have one too?" Eunho replied matter-of-factly, "Of course. You have to protect yourself." Ji-yoon was saddened by his cold attitude but said nothing. Eunho began to give instructions. "In the next 5 minutes, we will stay on this rooftop, but if the safe zone is not here, we will run down the stairs immediately." Ji-yoon was confused. "The stairs? Wouldn't it be better to use the elevator?" The countdown had begun. 4 minutes 59 seconds left. Eunho calmly explained, "But the stairs are safer. What if the elevator gets stuck or someone wants to sabotage it?" Ji-yoon hesitated. "But, Eunho," she worriedly asked, "are you sure you can use the stairs?" At this point, Eunho looked down at his leg. It's not good. Each step he took was painfully slow, and even small movements were enough to tear his body apart. But, remembering the status window and the message, 20% recovery of mobility, Eunho thought, "If I can heal this crippled leg." Eunho answered Ji-yoon, "It's okay." He stepped forward confidently, "I can handle it. Even if this leg breaks in two, I will do it." The street was still bustling with activity. A mechanical announcement sounded, "The mission begins. Please evacuate to the safe zone within the allotted time." The countdown began with 9 minutes and 59 seconds. Ji-yoon looked at her screen in panic and called out, "Eunho, this is..." A map of the building was displayed on the information screen, showing her current location and the safe zones on each floor, marked in green. Eunho looked at his own information screen. The green areas seemed to be the safe zones. Ji-yoon quickly realized, "So it's the 19th, 11th, and 3rd floors." Eunho rejoiced, "Great, the areas are well distributed. Let's go to the closest one, the 19th floor." On the 19th floor, there were already several people standing inside the safe zone. The two of them hurried to the stairs. Ji-yoon noticed that Eunho was falling behind and was worried. "Eunho, are you okay?" Eunho, panting, responded, "I'm fine." Ji-yoon completely disbelieved him. "You look far from fine. You're sweating buckets." She asked with concern, "We still have time. Do you want to rest for a bit?" Eunho insisted, "I'm really okay. It's nothing." He wiped the sweat from his forehead, thinking, "It's a little tiring, but compared to the drills I used to do, this is nothing. I'm so happy. I can finally feel my toes again. Just one reward has already fixed so much. What about later?" Just then, they saw the door to the 19th floor. Ji-yoon exclaimed, "19th floor. We've arrived. If I can be completely healed here?" The two of them entered. He looked around and said, "It's so empty." Ji-yoon agreed, "It is, right?" She asked, worried, "Where did everyone go?" Eunho guessed, "They must be." The sensor door in front of them slowly began to open. Both of them looked at the people before them. Eunho continued, running towards the safe zone. People quickly entered the area. There were sounds of arguing. "Hey, you dog, how dare you cut in line?" The other person retorted, "What the hell are you barking about?" The two of them started to physically fight each other. "Don't push me anymore." Seeing them arguing, Ji-yoon said, "As expected, things here are really chaotic." Eunho was calmer than her. "Actually, it's quieter than I thought." Ji-yoon worriedly said, "But what if we can't get in?" Eunho was silent for a moment before replying, "That won't happen. There are around 50 to 60 people here, but the safe zone seems large enough to hold over 100. Ji-yoon was surprised. "Over 100 people?" She asked Eunho, "How do you know that?" Eunho explained, "I counted the number of steps." "Huh? One step of mine is about 30 centimeters, so one person can fit in each step. The safe zone is 16 steps wide and 7 steps long, around that. If you multiply them, it can hold about 112 people, so that's enough." Ji-yoon was amazed. "Wow, Eunho, when did you start counting your steps?" Eunho replied casually, "It's a habit. When I was a track athlete, I used to calculate distances, but after the accident, everything got worse." She praised him, "That's amazing. It's like you have a superpower." Eunho wasn't arrogant. He reminded her, "Let's go inside first." Ji-yoon replied, "Yes." Eunho warned her, "Be careful. We don't know what the others will do if they can't get in." The time remaining was 51 seconds. The announcement sounded, 50 seconds remaining. People started pushing each other. "Stop pushing. Move over a little. Get out of the way. There's still room here." Ji-yoon and Eunho were squeezed together. Ji-yoon said, "It's good that we decided to come in early." Eunho reminded her cautiously, "Yeah, but be careful." Ji-yoon said with difficulty, "Don't worry, I know." Just then, a loud voice called out, "Please let me in." A man from the outside tried to squeeze in. Please move over a little, there's still room. Ji-yoon recognized him and said, shocked, what? Section chief? At that moment, he also saw her inside. He pointed at her. Ji-yoon. Ji-yoon, right? Help me, pull me in. Ji-yoon wanted to help. Wait a moment. But Eunho put his hand out to stop her. He said, don't risk it. If you help, you might get pushed out. Ji-yoon hesitated. But, the announcement called out, 5 seconds remaining. The clock counted down the last few seconds. 5. The section chief cried out, please help me. 4 seconds. Ji-yoon jumped out, startling Eunho. He yelled, Ji-yoon. Time left. 3 seconds. 2 seconds remaining. Ji-yoon yelled, wait, I'm sorry. 1 second left. Eunho yelled, section chief. The screen showed that the time was up. Ji-yoon had managed to grab the section chief's hand. An announcement sounded, the allotted time is up. Those outside of the safe zone will be eliminated. The section chief panicked. I'm not dead yet. Pull me in, Ji-yoon. She hurriedly replied, yes. She took a stance and counted, 1. But at that moment, the part of the section chief's body outside the safe zone began to fragment. Ji-yoon, not knowing what was happening, closed her eyes tightly and pulled him in. 3. The two of them lost balance and fell down. Ji-yoon said lightly, ouch, that hurt. Section chief, you are lighter than I thought. I'm so glad you were. As she spoke, she opened her eyes, but the scene before her left her speechless. The section chief had been cut in half. She was terrified and unable to speak. Ji-yoon covered her head and screamed, ah. Eunho pushed his way through the crowd. Excuse me, let me through. Ji-yoon. Ji-yoon was still trembling and blaming herself. If I had pulled him in a little faster. Eunho sat down and asked her, Ji-yoon, are you okay? Forget about it. The information panel appeared again. Second mission complete. 1,073 individuals eliminated from MS Tower. Eunho, upon hearing that, was shocked. He said through gritted teeth, 1,073 people? That's too many. The system display showed, survivors, 723. At that moment, the blood of the section chief was spreading to Ji-yoon's feet. Eunho, seeing that she wasn't reacting, asked, Ji-yoon, can you hear me? I know this is a bit overwhelming, but now is not the time. The next mission is starting soon. Please receive your reward and calm down. Ji-yoon, still in shock, stuttered, ha, my body. Section chief, my body. Eunho cursed inwardly. Damn it, she is completely broken down. If her mental state is like this. He stopped abruptly. Wait a moment. He opened his information panel. Mission reward. Would this work? Eunho worried. I don't know if it will boost her mental state. Please let it be effective. The system displayed a question. Do you wish to boost mental strength? Yes. He quickly pressed cancel to close the information panel and shouted, Ji-yoon. Eunho said hesitantly, can you hear me? I need your help with something. He stared directly at her and said, just one thing. Please repeat what I say. Ji-yoon agreed. Okay. Eunho read slowly. Mission reward. Ji-yoon repeated. Mission reward. Ji-yoon's system appeared. Please select your reward. Eunho said again. Boost mental strength. Ji-yoon hesitated, then repeated. Boost mental strength. Immediately, an announcement sounded. Mental strength boosted. Ji-yoon's eyes widened. A surge of power coursed through her, making her wince as if in pain. Eunho called out worriedly. Ji-yoon. Did it fail? He frowned, thinking, I don't know what terrible things will happen next. If it doesn't work, should I bring her with me? Just then, Ji-yoon suddenly stood up, startling him. Eunho hastily asked, Ji-yoon? Ji-yoon said, Eunho, wait. She held up her bloody and torn sock, continuing, let me take off this sock first. It's successful. Eunho said in his mind, this system is truly amazing. I never thought it could be so powerful. I bet everyone else is thinking the same thing. He looked around, and people were excitedly asking each other, what should I upgrade? Or maybe increase stamina? Physical strength seems important too. So far, I've received 2 rewards. Eunho called out, status window. I need to gather as much information as possible. He asked, is there any reward that's a get out of death free card? The system answered, there is no such option. What about a gun or other weapons? It gave the same reply, there is no such option. Eunho had to laugh. Okay, let's see who wins. He thought to himself, I'll show it the perseverance I've cultivated all this time with this crippled leg. Eunho continued to ask, what about precognition or the ability to fly? This time the system seemed to be out of ideas. But surprisingly, it responded, it cannot be selected at this stage. Eunho was shocked. What? He asked quickly. This stage? What do you mean? Will there be other stages after completing a mission? But the system replied, unable to answer. Eunho understood. Of course. That's enough for now. Whoever is running this crazy game won't be content with something as simple as claiming territory. He selected the leg on the status window. First, let's heal this leg. The system informed him. Reward accepted. Mobility restored by 70%. Eunho tried stepping on it, thinking to himself, although I can't sprint yet, I can at least run normally. Ji-yoon, seeing this, was shocked. Eunho, your leg. You healed it with a reward? Eunho laughed. It's not completely healed, but I'll probably be fine in another round. At this time, the system announced, the mission begins. The safe zone has appeared. Eunho looked up. Looks like we don't have time to talk about this, right? Ji-yoon checked her status window. The closest safe zone is the conference room on the 15th floor. Eunho urged, then let's go. Most people are probably already there. Ji-yoon asked, oh Eunho, can I ask you something? Eunho, walking ahead, responded, of course, ask me while we go down. As the two walked, Ji-yoon said, when the section chief's body was split in half earlier, you didn't seem surprised at all. Most people, like me, would have panicked. How are you able to stay so calm? Eunho replied calmly, oh, now that you mention it, you're right. If I had to give a reason, it's probably because I went through rigorous training as a track athlete. But mainly, it's because I witnessed my parents die in a car accident when I was a child. These words surprised Ji-yoon. She said sadly, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked such questions. But Eunho simply said, it's okay. Is it because my leg has been healed more than halfway? He opened the emergency exit door. Those who are alive must continue to live. And so will I. Ji-yoon hesitated. Then let's survive together. Upon hearing that, Eunho smiled, wondering to himself, is it possible that after 2 missions, I've started to develop feelings for her? He didn't answer her, but ran forward. Let's go quickly. My steps feel lighter when I'm with her. And then, in the 3rd safe zone, we witnessed a murder for the first time. Kwak Dong-sok, brandishing a club, yelled, if you think you're tough, come in here. And it was here that we faced something. The two quickly made their way down the stairs. Ji-yoon asked, Eunho? Eunho replied, yes, what is it? Ji-yoon wondered, what if there's no room left? Eunho, panting, said, let's see. Hopefully that's not the case, but if it's full, then I guess we'll have to fight each other to get a spot. Just as he thought, when they arrived, there was already someone waiting with a club. Kwak. He swung the club around, scaring the people nearby, who yelled and quickly dodged him. Kwak continuously swung the club, preventing people from approaching. You bastards, get out of here. I said, all of you get out. Eunho, seeing this situation, thought, I guess this was going to happen sooner or later. But Ji-yoon was also surprised. She said, echoing his thoughts, I didn't think it would happen before all the spots were filled. At that moment, an annoyed man spoke up. Hey, you jerk. There's still plenty of space inside. What's wrong with you? Another person joined in. That's right. We can all fit in there. Why is someone being so selfish? Kwak responded with a sinister tone. Oh, you dead dogs. Look who's calling who's selfish, he shouted. You guys are more selfish than anyone. You shitheads. The people, intimidated by him, quickly told each other, don't provoke him. Kwak said with a furious tone, you always look down on us contract workers, forcing us to leave. You dogs. You don't know how miserable my life has been because of you, he continued. Okay, damn it, if you can do it, do it. Don't order me around in this situation, Kwak shouted. Am I right or not, you bastards? Eunho cautiously looked at him and asked Ji-yoon, that guy, he's from the operations support department, right? Ji-yoon replied, yes. Assistant manager Kwak Dong-sok. She explained, he joined the company 2 years ago to replace manager On. He seems like he was going to be terminated like us when his contract ended. Eunho thought to himself, so, he's like me. Assistant manager Kwak Dong-sok, operations support team. I think I've seen him a few times, a big guy, but always working hunched over under pressure. Everyone said he was particularly sensitive and easily hurt. I guess that's why. Just then, Director O spoke up, scolding, hey, Assistant Manager Kwak, what the hell do you think you're doing? Eunho looked at him, wondering, who is that? Probably Kwak's supervisor. Director O continued to rant, how dare you talk to me like that? Director O from the Operations Support Department poked Kwak Dong-sok with a back scratcher. I took you in and looked after you, you ungrateful bastard. Dong-sok pursed his lips. He swung his club directly at him. Fresh blood immediately flowed from his head. Dong-sok said blankly, took me in? That's a joke. Do you think I'm your pet or something? Director O was knocked to the ground in shock. Someone screamed in terror. Ah, they were all in shock. He really killed him. People panicked. He actually killed someone. Ji-yoon was also worried. This is too much. All of them. Ji-yoon said sadly. He was ready to exploit and throw him away. And he couldn't contain his anger anymore. So this happened. But Eunho said, I don't think it's just a momentary emotion. She was surprised. What? It can't just be a momentary emotion. His pupils are darting around. He's even breathing heavily. And his hands are shaking. He's not a violent person. But shards of pottery can inflict harm. And potted plants can be used as weapons. With preparations to this extent, he must have been thinking about it for a long time. Since when his boss threw a paper on his face and said, do it again, you idiot. You write these crap and still want to be paid? Where did all of your experience go? About how to kill. Humph. Eating like a pig just to grow your limbs, the people in the office. Dong-sok yelled at the people outside. You all saw it, right? Don't even think about coming in here. If anyone gets close, I will kill them first. People began to retreat in fear. I'll go to another floor. Another person quickly said, crap, we're running out of time. Ji-yoon worriedly asked Eunho, what should we do? He's completely lost it. I don't think we can do anything to him. Eunho frowned, not replying. No, he thought as he walked towards Dong-sok. Ji-yoon was shocked. Eunho. He's very agitated right now. This is a good opportunity. If I can calm him down, we could talk for a bit. And most importantly, Ji-yoon, seeing him walk determinedly in that direction, called out, Eunho. At this time, the time remaining was 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Dong-sok, seeing him in front of him, was surprised. What? We don't have much time. Eunho said calmly, hello, Kwok. Let's talk for a bit. I'm a contract worker, like you. Dong-sok was shocked. What? Eunho continued, what you're doing now is only digging your own grave. He advised, just think slowly. Everyone from different companies in this building is on a mission. They might have teamed up to survive. And they will of course maintain their alliance to fight the surrounding people. But, what about you, Kwok? These words made Dong-sok worry. Eunho said frankly, a colleague who killed someone. You are both dangerous and the least suitable person to be on a team. He looked around and said bluntly, you are seen as the most dangerous person to be eliminated in order to survive. He turned to Dong-sok and said, that's what you get. Considering the competitive nature of these missions, going solo might be a good choice. But if we think that the next stages might be a different type of mission, then establishing an alliance first is actually wise. He looked at Director O lying dead on the ground. Luckily, it's not too late. You're not the only one who has a grudge against Director O. If you stop now, people will understand. Everyone seems to agree that Director O was very harsh to us, I guess. Finally, Eunho asked, what are you going to do? Eunho was asking, will you kill us all, eliminating any possibility of becoming an ally? Let's see how he reacts. Dong-sok didn't say anything, just looked at Eunho. Suddenly, he reached out. People were surprised to see him bending down, as if he was trying to pick up a potted plant. Potted plant? Ji-yoon was worried. Eunho. Be careful. Instantly, a potted plant was thrown and smashed into someone's face. Dong-sok said maliciously, what are you saying, you bastard? You inferior person? How dare you teach me a lesson? Do I look like I'm in the same league as you? Eunho had a narrow escape, thinking to himself, that was close. If I hadn't calculated the distance beforehand, I would have taken that hit. Damn it, we're running out of time. At that moment, his status window suddenly appeared. Notification, data needs to be measured to unlock skills. Status window. He wondered, what's this? I've never seen this before. Unlock skills, data, what does that mean? Suddenly a loud voice interrupted his train of thought. Eunho, watch out. Eunho panicked. Crap, it's too late. Dong-sok swung his club towards his head. Just before that jagged club hit his face, someone quickly pulled him backward, dodging the fatal blow. He asked, are you okay? Eunho replied, yes. I'm still alive thanks to you. Thank you. Who is this? The other person said, I'm glad you're okay. I've never seen you before. He said, I'll support you, so let's get out of here now. Eunho was doubtful. Support? That's done and done. Eunho said, thank you again. He asked, your name is Jae-hyuk, right? Jae-hyuk replied, no, it's Choi Jae-hyuk. I work at the Hondo Comprehensive Training Center on the 17th floor. He laughed and explained, well, I'm going to a lower floor now. I hope both of you survive to the end. But Eunho said, it's too late. Choi Jae-hyuk asked, what do you mean? Eunho explained, we've missed the golden opportunity to move to another safe zone. We can't rule out the possibility that a similar situation will occur down there. Jae-hyuk's expression turned sad. I see. Eunho asked again, you were in the military before, right? Jae-hyuk was surprised. How do you know everything? Ji-yoon thought, the way he talks is just like in the military. At that moment, Jae-hyuk also honestly replied, yes, I was discharged last year as a sergeant. Eunho glanced at Ji-yoon as if to gauge her reaction, then said, if it's okay, why don't you join us? Jae-hyuk was surprised, huh? Ji-yoon asked, do you have a plan, Eunho? He explained, we need to block all his attacks when we advance. We need something like a shield. Ji-yoon was confused. What is there in the office we can use as a shield? Eunho came up with an idea. He said, Ji-yoon, Jae-hyuk, watch out here for a moment. Ji-yoon was surprised. Eunho, you mean? Jae-hyuk turned his head in the direction that they were looking at. Huh? All three looked at the display screen, with 1 minute and 44 seconds left. Eunho said, let's try to get through this. At this moment, Dong-sok was still holding the club, blocking people from entering. Some people were annoyed. Are you really not going to let us in? Are you going to kill us all? You crazy bastard? A weak voice called out, quack. The tearful employee said, Can you let me in? I don't want to die like this, please. I'm begging you. Dong-sok asked bluntly, then what are you going to do for me? This question made the girl freeze. What? He frowned, as if he had lost all patience. I'm saying, what will you do for me if I save you? You're not going to try to cling to your life with something trivial, are you? While the girl was still hesitant, suddenly a cart came rushing toward them. Both of them looked in that direction, not understanding what was happening. Dong-sok said, what's that? It turned out that Ji-yoon and Jae-hyuk were pushing the cart closer, with Eunho behind them, holding a mop. He spoke up, as I said, we only have one chance here. When I give the first signal, use the board as a shield and advance. When I give the second signal, flip the board over and push it into the aisle. Even if the board breaks during the attack, don't panic and continue pushing. He gripped the mop handle tightly in his hand. I will provide support. If everyone understands, the countdown is at 16 seconds. 15 seconds left. Eunho shouted, advance. Jae-hyuk and Ji-yoon tried their best to push the cart. People around were confused. What's that? What are they doing? Dong-sok, seeing the cart approaching, panicked. He closed his eyes, wildly swung the club around and shouted, you bastard. Ji-yoon immediately flipped the shield. Flip it. Eunho also quickly said, quick. Jae-hyuk quickly responded, okay. Dong-sok was surprised when his attack was blocked by the shield. He cursed, you dogs. Dong-sok pulled a utility knife from his pocket. How dare you come in here? Fresh blood immediately gushed out. Eunho was stunned. His eyes widened, his face horrified. Jae-hyuk. Jae-hyuk cried out in pain. Ah. Dong-sok, enraged, shouted, you bastards. He pulled a utility knife from his pocket. How dare you barge in here? Fresh blood splattered before Eunho. His eyes widened in shock. Jae-hyuk was surprised to be stabbed. Dong-sok cursed, you son of a bitch. At this moment, Jae-hyuk gritted his teeth in pain. Ugh, ah. He clutched his wound and slumped down, yelling in agony. Ah. Eunho and Ji-yoon rushed over. Jae-hyuk. Dong-sok, confused, blurted out, what the hell are you doing? Eunho lifted his leg and kicked Dong-sok directly in the face. Dong-sok barely managed to use both hands to block the kick. He said, with a dark expression, ha, damn it, that's ridiculous. You think a kick from a cripple like you can push me back? Eunho replied, no. At that moment, Dong-sok's eyes widened as he looked to the side. Eunho swung the mop, hitting Dong-sok directly in the face. I know it can't. Eunho's blow knocked Dong-sok backward. He quickly told the other two, Ji-yoon, quickly get Jae-hyuk inside. Ji-yoon responded, okay, but will you be alright here alone? Eunho urged, I'm fine, go ahead. He turned to look at Dong-sok. You bastard. Dong-sok struggled to get up. How dare you? A cripple like you dares to. Eunho's expression became serious. Dong-sok, furious, asked, a piece of trash like you dares to look down on me? He yelled as he charged at Eunho. All living beings share the same emotions. Be it humans or monsters, when consumed by rage, they lose their reason. They use their entire body to express their anger, and then they target their prey like a bull charging at a matador in an arena. Eunho retreated silently, step by step. Just as Dong-sok charged at him, Eunho quickly dodged to the side. Dong-sok, losing his momentum, charged out of the door. Realizing Eunho's plan, he cursed, you motherfucker. Dong-sok fell to the ground outside. Ji-yoon anxiously asked Eunho, Eunho, are you okay? At that moment, the system announced, time is up. A new announcement appeared. Restructuring begins. Those outside were immediately torn into pieces, cursing continuously. You damn dog. If it weren't for you, everyone would have survived. No, I don't want to die. You deserve to be shot, you selfish bastard. The curses didn't stop. You killed everyone. Dong-sok muttered in fear. No. His eyes were bloodshot. How? How did I survive until now? Seeing Ji-yoon and Eunho inside the safe zone, this can't be happening. At the last moment of his life, he screamed, "No way, you bastard." Eunho and Ji-yoon silently watched everyone disappear. Ji-yoon stuttered, We did it?" Eunho also said, "It's over." An announcement appeared, "Mission complete. Please select a mission reward." Eunho selected, "Increase leg strength." The second time has recovered 70%. With this speed, the third time will definitely, just as he thought, the system announced, "Reward distribution complete." It is definite. Notification, recovery rate reaches 100%. 100% recovery. Eunho said nothing. Finally, a feeling of ease without stopping. He thought, trembling, "It really worked. My legs are starting to move again as I want them to." Ji-yoon's voice shattered his train of thought. Eunho, your legs, are they healed?" Eunho smiled and replied, "Yes, that's right. They've recovered." Ji-yoon said with a happy face, "Oh my god, congratulations." Eunho said happily, "Thank you. You helped me a lot too, Ji-yoon." His polite tone made Ji-yoon blush. "I didn't do anything. I feel like I was a burden to you. I'm very sorry." "Yeah, this is enough to make me happy too," Ji-yoon said in admiration. "I'm really happy for you." Eunho thought to himself, "I've only reached a normal level, while others become superhumans through augmentation instead of simple recovery." Suddenly, a groan was heard behind them. It was at this moment that everyone noticed Jae-hyuk lying there. "Jae-hyuk, are you okay?" He suddenly said, "I'm so happy I was with you too." Ji-yoon was confused. "Huh?" Jae-hyuk continued, "I think this is the end for me. Please, send my last words to my mother." Eunho said nothing. While Jae-hyuk was still teary-eyed, "Mom," Eunho suddenly said, "I don't think you need to worry about that, Jae-hyuk." Jae-hyuk was still dazed. "Did I hear that wrong?" Eunho explained, "The wound isn't that deep. The bleeding has stopped too. I think you can deliver the message to your mother yourself." Upon hearing this, Jae-hyuk immediately sat up. "What?" Eunho replied, "I'm saying you can get up now." He was speechless, unsure what to say. Then, he sat up and said, "Oh, that's miraculous. I was just struggling with this wound a moment ago." Did you pass the mission? You can use the reward to recover." Eunho thought, he seems a bit timid. Eunho spoke up, "Jae-hyuk, you haven't received the reward for the previous mission, right?" Jae-hyuk was clueless. I haven't." Eunho suggested, "If you're still worried about the wound, I think you should use it to boost your recovery." Jae-hyuk was confused. Recovery? Eunho explained, "That way, you won't need to use rewards to heal minor wounds anymore." Ji-yoon exclaimed, "Oh, I didn't think of that at all." Eunho replied, "That's right, boost recovery according to the standard." Jae-hyuk looked at him excitedly, with sparkling eyes. "That's so smart. How did you come up with that idea, big brother Eunho?" Eunho thought, "Big brother, he asked Jae-hyuk, "If you don't mind, Jae-hyuk, how old are you?" Jae-hyuk replied, I'm 25. Unbelievable." Eunho was confused. "Oh really? I'm 28. So it's right for you to call me brother." Ji-yoon's eyes widened in shock. "No way. You're only 1 year younger than me?" She thought, with that look, "I thought he was in his mid-30s. Jae-hyuk, hearing what she said in awe, "Oh, so you are my elder sister." He said happily, "Brother, sister, I was able to get here thanks to you two. Thank you so much." Ji-yoon blushed and waved her hand. "It was nothing." Eunho also said, "Not really. If it wasn't for you, Jae-hyuk." He was speaking then had to stop. "Huh? What is it?" Jae-hyuk gave a friendly thumbs up and said, "Please, just call me Jae-hyuki, brother." Eunho thought, "It'll take some time to get used to this." He asked excitedly, "What should I do to prepare for the next mission?" Eunho replied, "Wait for the next mission's instructions. Everyone make sure to receive your rewards first. We're on the 15th floor, right in the middle of the building, which is convenient for moving around. And most importantly, we need to gather as much information as possible while we have the time, about the true nature of the unactivated skills." A notification appeared, measuring data to unlock skill, 12%. At this moment, in the empty office, Jae-hyuk took off his shirt. Ji-yoon exclaimed, "Wow, you've recovered almost perfectly." Jae-hyuk exclaimed, "Really? It's miraculous. I think boosting your recovery will help you heal better," Ji-yoon guessed. Jae-hyuk said happily, "That's perfect. I don't even have any scars. I don't even remember where I was hurt." Jae-hyuk wondered, but why did Eunho act like that? Ji-yoon didn't have an answer. I'm not sure either. He said there was something that needed to be checked immediately. At that moment, Eunho was still thinking to himself, "I've been running around here without stopping, and I've come to a conclusion. Notification. Measuring data to unlock skill, 87%. Of course, it's clear that physical stats play a very important role. To help my body adjust to the newly healed legs, I've been running around the office for a while. I can see that the data measurement speed increases in proportion to my legs' recovery. And I realized. Eunho suddenly saw the system's message. Notification regarding the objective. Lee Eunho's strong desire has accelerated the data measurement speed. In fact, the psychological factors are also very influential. Eunho looked down at the system panel, analyzing in his head, I guess that when it reaches 100%, the new skill will be unlocked. I wonder what kind of skill has been prepared. If this is a game, I'd choose an attack skill to take down as many opponents as possible. Just then, the system delivered a new announcement. All survivors, please take notice. The final mission will begin at 3 o'clock. All three of them focused intently on listening to it. Once again, we are notifying you at 3 o'clock. Ji-yoon, hearing it, teared up. Wait, did I hear that wrong? Jae-hyuk said happily, I heard it too. They definitely said the final, it's finally ending. Eunho wondered, the final? Not quite, the system clearly mentioned the next stage. And if they planned for everything to end like this, they wouldn't give us any rewards or skills. Ji-yoon and Jae-hyuk were still happy. She said to him, let's wait at the stairs, Eunho. Jae-hyuk clenched his fist, it's the last round, I'll do my best. Eunho put his jacket on. He speculated, everyone will definitely become more aggressive in the next stages. This is the real deal. He suddenly noticed something on the desk in the office. Jae-hyuk spoke up. What should we do now, brother? He observed the situation and assessed, with the current situation in the safe zone, it seems impossible to break through directly. Eunho thought, Jae-hyuk is right, a direct breakthrough is completely impossible. We don't know what rewards those who are fighting have received, so we need to be careful. We have to find another way. Suddenly, an idea came to him. He said to the other two, Ji-yoon, Jae-hyuk. They both responded, yes, brother. Ah, yes, brother. Eunho pointed in one direction and asked, do you two see that temporary wall behind the crowd? Jae-hyuk replied, yes, I see it. Eunho immediately said, all right, we'll go there. Jae-hyuk worriedly asked Ji-yoon, but can we get in there without getting hurt? She encouraged him, we can do it. Let's just go for it. Eunho called out, there's no time left. Move quickly. The three of them gathered together, with Eunho now holding a ladder. Jae-hyuk was shocked. What? Where are you planning to climb? Eunho calmly replied, up to the top of the monitor. Ji-yoon asked, you mean climb up onto that platform? Jae-hyuk wondered, what do you plan to do once you're up there? Eunho replied immediately, I'm going to make the monitor fall. He explained his plan. If it falls forward, it'll fall directly into the safe zone. The people inside will be trapped, but they won't die. Ji-yoon understood and clapped, ah. So, we can avoid fighting, right? He replied, that's right, though that's probably not what the system wants. Jae-hyuk admired, wow, you're truly amazing. He then asked, but how did you know there was a ladder here? Eunho simply said, experience. The company I used to work for also had exhibition spaces, and they were always set up like this. He lifted the ladder up. Okay then. Eunho told the two, climb up quickly before it's too late. Jae-hyuk assessed the surroundings. Looking out from here, the design is really shoddy. Why did they install it like this? Eunho calmly directed, Jae-hyuk, go over to that wall. He approached it, and Eunho instructed, everyone, listen carefully. It's now 33 seconds. When we fall, immediately jump out of the way. Countdown 32 seconds. He closed his eyes and focused, alright, then, 31 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Jae-hyuk opened his eyes, focused, and shouted, let's go. Director Park, who was still pushing his way through the crowd, looked behind him. Why is it so dark? They all saw the screen gradually falling. What the hell is that? Everyone was panicking and urging each other. Get out of the way. Go somewhere else. You bastard. The screen crashed down. Jae-hyuk said happily, we did it, Eunho. He shouted, move as close to the center of the safe zone as possible. He also jumped to the ground, thinking, we need to secure our positions before the others stabilize. He ran inside and thought, of course, I calculated the timing perfectly, so we don't need to push ourselves too much. But we must be prepared, just in case. At that moment, he noticed something else. There was a scream. Ah. Ji-yoon was grabbed by the arm by a director. Director Park, what are you doing? He was yelling, Secretary Kim, what the hell are you doing? Ji-yoon, your mission is to serve me, right? And now you're trying to save yourself alone? Damn it. She got caught. Eunho ran out without thinking. Jae-hyuk called out, brother. Director Park's leg was bleeding. He said, acting like a victim, you caused this screen to fall, right? It's your fault I got hurt. What about my leg? Director Park held tightly onto Ji-yoon's hand. You can't go in there alone. Either drag me in with you, or we'll die here together. Ji-yoon forcefully shook his hand off. Let me go. Director Park was surprised. What? Ji-yoon rushed into the safe zone. There's no time left. I need to get to the center like Eunho said. Suddenly, she was pulled backward. She yelled in pain. Ah! Director Park grabbed her hair. Where do you think you're going, you bitch? Ji-yoon, in pain, begged him. Hurt, please, stop, Director. At that moment, Eunho pulled a pair of scissors from the back of his pants. Director Park cursed. You dare to abandon the person you should be protecting when they are in danger. Director Park continued. I'll tear your head apart. Then suddenly, Eunho rushed in and used the scissors to cut Ji-yoon's hair. Director Park held a lock of hair in his hand, confused. What the hell? Ji-yoon was also surprised. That is, she looked at Eunho's hand. She wondered. Scissors? Eunho thought, I knew it was the right decision to keep them. While walking past the office desk, he had noticed them. We need a weapon. Or at least something that can be used as a weapon. A utility knife is too thin and limited in its use, while scissors are not dangerous unless they are open. Therefore, I created my own weapon. Eunho looked at the remaining half of the scissors in his hand, assessing, it seems like I can stab with this. I can even cut with it. He went down on his knee. He kicked the director hard in his stomach. He was knocked away. At this moment, the system announced that time was up. Director Park was horrified upon hearing it. He quickly stood up, trying to run into the safe zone. But the red notification appeared. The restructuring process will begin now. Director Park was panting. Ha, this, you damn bastards. He looked at Eunho and Ji-yoon inside the safe zone. Suddenly, Jae-hyuk clutched his head and yelled, Sister, making Ji-yoon jump. He said, trembling, I'm sorry for yelling, but sister, your hair. Ji-yoon touched her short hair and said, oh no. At that moment, Eunho also turned with a worried look. I almost forgot. I cut a girl's hair without her permission. No, I didn't trim it. It was more like I sheared it off. Though it was unavoidable, I still feel awkward. Is she angry? Seeing Ji-yoon suddenly approach him, Eunho said nervously, yes, what is it? I should apologize, right? Ji-yoon suddenly said, please, help me with one thing. Eunho felt guilty. What is it? Ji-yoon shook out her hair. She smiled and said to Eunho, help me cut it shorter. So this won't happen again. Eunho was surprised and asked, what? Are you okay? Ji-yoon replied, I'm okay. Besides, short hair suits me better, doesn't it? Eunho thought. She's smiling. He smiled and lifted his scissors. These aren't scissors anymore, so it'll be difficult. Ji-yoon was surprised. Huh? What happened to it? Since when did her mental strength increase so much? Jae-hyuk excitedly said, I'll go look for some new scissors, so don't worry. Eunho reminded them, alright, but people under the screen are still trapped, right? There were voices calling for help. Ouch, my back. Ji-yoon noticed how Eunho was talking. Eunho, you're talking casually now. While they were talking, a notification appeared. 16 survivors in MS Tower. Jae-hyuk said excitedly, you two have worked hard again. We're able to survive thanks to you. Eunho remained humble. No, you're the one who worked harder. Suddenly, the system announced, the tutorial is over, freezing Eunho in place. The system continued. The tutorial completion reward will be distributed now. The people underneath the screen were confused. A tutorial? The system reported. Synchronization rate has slightly increased. People began to murmur, but they said this was the final mission. Are you guys kidding me? Who came up with this idea? Jae-hyuk was also confused. Brother, what is that? Ji-yoon worriedly asked. Eunho, what's going on? Eunho thought, I knew it, this could not be the end. They looked at the chaotic scene before them. The system announced, by administrator authority, the project is activated. Notification, project name, selection. Upon hearing the word selection, people immediately started murmuring, selection? Does that mean, are they going to filter us again? Eunho thought, selection at this stage? Until now, everything was just a tutorial. The restructuring is only now officially beginning. People began to murmur, what the hell is going on? At that moment, a young girl with 2 pink pigtails appeared before everyone. Seeing a young girl like that appear there, people said, a little girl? What is this? The young girl, floating in the air, gently smoothed her hair and said, 16 people, huh? Why are so many people still here? A man next to her spoke up, 10 or 11 years old? At most, she looks like a middle school student. Hearing this, Eunho said, the age we see probably means nothing. There is no need for introductions or explanations. I can tell that she is an administrator. The mysterious girl suddenly looked around and exclaimed, oh, what's this? Knocking over the monitor and climbing up there? At this moment, a haughty man below called out, hey, you, Who are you? Why did you suddenly appear here? The girl quickly moved in front of him, calmly saying, Harona. Anyway, who came up with the idea of pushing the monitor down? That was clever. Eunho looked at Harona and thought, that girl just moved next to him in the blink of an eye. Could I also be able to do something like that if I receive rewards? Then, Jae-hyuk came next to Eunho and whispered, Brother, that girl seems to be looking for you. Eunho immediately brushed off his words, let's just observe. It looks like she's not here to praise us. Suddenly, Eunho turned around. Behind him, a woman spoke, what happened earlier? I think that might be me. The woman next to her quickly reprimanded her, hey, you. Why did you step forward without knowing why you were called? An older man beside them added, oh, my God, it's always like this. But the woman simply calmly replied, I just thought she might give me something. Always acting like she has responsibility while being incapable of anything. Harona then smiled lightly. She flew in front of you and said haughtily, hey, was it you? You, seeing that scary gaze, became frightened. It wasn't really me. Harona, hearing that, quickly asked, not you? Then why did you step forward? You began to stammer. Well, everyone could feel it. The cold atmosphere that surrounded each word she spoke, the fear from the coldness. Harona sighed and said softly, never mind. A terrifying pressure radiated from her small body. Before anyone knew it, she was right in front of Yu's face, pointing her finger at her and then swiping it across. What? In an instant, Yu was cut in half. Blood spurted out everywhere. Everyone, seeing that, recoiled in fear. Yu's limbs were all severed and strewn across the floor. The girl who had just advised Yu and the older man were also horrified at the sight before her. Then she screamed, but Harona's expression remained indifferent, as if nothing had happened. Let's see, I need to identify my targets first. Eunho, Ji-yoon, and Jae-hyuk were all shocked by her inhumane action. He gritted his teeth, hearing Harona's cruel words, since I just eliminated one person, that leaves 15, right? She said, eliminated someone? Harona continued, the company requires interviewing each person individually, but I really don't want to. Killing people seems that trivial to her. Then suddenly he thought, wait, she just said company? Does the company need to identify targets? I will ask you all at once. Answer correctly. Eunho wondered what she was trying to find out. After speaking for a while, Harona waved her hand and asked, okay, among you, who is an athlete? Raise your hand. But no one raised their hand. Harona, cruelly, continued, no one? What about performing artists, singers, actors? Ji-yoon quietly asked Jae-hyuk, why is she looking for those kinds of people in an IT business area? Jae-hyuk quietly replied, after what just happened, who would dare step forward? Harona kept interrogating the people below. Anyone with global achievements, great people who have created wonderful works. She continued to ask but received no answer. Harona finally gave up, asking one last question. Okay, one last question. But, this time a man raised his hand and said, does YouTuber count? Upon hearing that, Harona's eyes widened as she looked at him. Then, she asked, quietly and confused, what is that? Never mind. If you say anything else stupid, I'll rip your mouth open. Got it? He was terrified at the threat. At this moment, Harona continued, well, I didn't think there would be anyone. So, I'll just clean up and proceed quickly. The floor is flat and perfect. Upon hearing that, Eunho felt confused. The floor? Harona, pointing, said, right, the tutorial rewards will be distributed all at once. They are customized for each person, but that's too much of a hassle, so I'll choose randomly. So, no questions, right? As she said that, she snapped her fingers and disappeared. The woman next to her said with frustration, she didn't give anyone time to think before disappearing. Project selection. First mission activated. By administrator rights, the arena has been opened. Upon receiving the mission, everyone began to murmur, what? There's no explanation for the mission? No time limit or safe zone? What are we supposed to do? Eunho propped his chin, thinking, as I expected, the missions have changed starting from this stage. I need to prepare as much as possible. If it's a speed battle with some strength as before, agility will be the best advantage. But this new arena has added a new variable, he said softly, mission rewards. Perhaps I should aim for something more practical. While he was still thinking, the system panel displayed a notification, tutorial completion, reward level up, mission reward, 1 point and a random box for the new mission. Rewards have changed? Suddenly, a ray of light appeared in front of him. Eunho tilted his head in confusion. It really appeared. A random gift box. When I reach out to it, it wiggles back and forth, as if it could explode at any moment. He carefully reached out, wondering, what if it's a trap? Before he could touch it, two men next to him, who had just opened their boxes, suddenly exclaimed, "Wow, what? Minjung? Oh, brother, look. They found a box full of money. Amazing. Each stack has 100 bills. How much is that? At least 100 stacks, over 500 million won. Minjung, check your reward too." Hearing their excitement, Eunho didn't feel happy. That's a meaningless reward. If this restructuring is happening globally, then civilization as we know it is probably gone. Of course, currency will just be a useless pile of paper. At that moment, someone else opened a box and found a luxury handbag. Oh my god, a designer bag. In the worst case scenario, a loaf of bread could be more valuable than these things. With that thought, he touched the box. He thought, the reward needs to help me with the upcoming missions and the intense competition. Priority 1, armor. Priority 2, weapons. Some people can cleanly chop others to pieces with just one finger. Who knows how many more of those types we will encounter. I used all 3 rewards just to recover my legs. That gap must be filled with these rewards. With that, Eunho gritted his teeth and prayed, "Please, give me something useful." He then touched the reward box, and it lit up. Notification: you have received a random box for a new objective. Eunho was still puzzled. The system panel announced, "Congratulations. This is. You have received your reward. You have received the reward." What was the first weapon that humans ever used?